Hey everyone, and welcome to today's brand new explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us today because, well, we are tackling something literally every single one of us deals with at some point: mastering self-motivation. Today, we're breaking down the deeply compelling insights of speaker, author, and coach Deb Sofield. We're going to completely unpack her powerful philosophy on what it actually takes to get moving when the world around you just seems to be sitting still. Let's get right into it.
Before we really get into the nuts and bolts of it, let me ask you something. Have you ever struggled to get back to work after a vacation? You know the exact feeling, right? You've just had some much-needed time off, your mind is finally relaxed, and then Monday morning hits. Suddenly you're struck by this incredibly heavy post-vacation slump. It feels like moving through molasses just to open your email inbox. It's a completely universal experience, and as we'll see, it's exactly where our source material begins.
So, Deb Sofield shares this super relatable story that I think perfectly sets the stage for our entire explainer. She recently took an 11-day beach vacation. For 11 glorious days, she put away her computer, became a total beach bum during the day, and watched cooking shows at night. Sounds amazing, right? But then, life kicked back in. She returned to an office desk completely buried under a massive pile of mail and pending work. In fact, she says it took her about 11 more days just to dig out and get back into the swing of things. We all love the daydream of resting in the water, but eventually, reality demands our attention.
Okay, let's dive into this, because right here is the absolute core mantra of today's explainer, straight from Sofield herself. Push yourself because no one is going to do it for you. Sounds simple enough, right? But man, is it profoundly difficult to actually live by. When Sofield was digging herself out of that giant pile of mail, she realized that waiting for some external burst of motivation or hoping someone else would come clear her desk was just a losing game. You have to push yourself back into the game. No one is coming to do the heavy lifting for you.
Which brings us right to Section 1, the trap of complacency.
This is really the first major hurdle we all face on the road to our goals. Once we get comfortable, or honestly, once we get overwhelmed, it is incredibly easy to just get stuck in the comforting rhythms of our daily routines. We let the momentum of everyday life carry us along, rather than actively steering the ship ourselves. But this complacency is a super dangerous trap. Just look at the common, everyday distractions we all face. Re-engaging at work after a long, lazy summer season. Or maybe it's getting the family ready to head back to school. Or going through the massive effort of reorganizing your entire life when the new year rolls around. Life is undeniably busy, and these natural transitions take up so much of our mental bandwidth. Because of that, it becomes incredibly tempting to just sit back and let things happen to you, instead of fully engaging and participating in the goals you actually care about.
And that leads us into Section 2. No one will push you.
Okay, it's time to face a kind of harsh reality. We tend to lean on our social circles for momentum, right? But Sofield points out that while your friends might needle you or try to get you motivated, it's usually because they want you to do what they want done for them. Setting aside what others desire for your time and your talent, you really have to realize that nobody is going to drive your specific personal dreams forward. That engine has to be powered by you and you alone. Because of that, you are facing the ultimate choice. Giving yourself an energetic push in the right direction is very often the defining factor that separates achieving amazing success from experiencing catastrophic failure. If you don't push yourself to participate and do the work, you're actively choosing the path that leads away from success. You might as well get organized, get going, and do it yourself, because the stakes for your own life are just that high. So, how do we actually break out of this? Let's get into Section 3, discovering your inner strength. This is the first of 3 core pillars Sofield identifies for truly mastering self-motivation. It's not about magically transforming into a totally different person. It's about finding and using the immense strength that already exists inside of you, just waiting to be deployed. It relies on one fundamental truth: you are stronger than you think. Sofield emphasizes that we all have inner strength. You were born with some, and you've developed even more over the course of your life. The real tragedy, however, is that most people never actually tap into that stream of strength they've built over their lifetimes. The strength is there, it's lying dormant, but it requires a conscious, daily decision to use it to move toward your dreams. So Field draws this absolutely brilliant contrast here between 2 very different paths. On one side, we have what she calls the couch of life. After a few falls, a lot of once promising leaders just give up. We live in a world conditioned to expect overnight sensations, fueled by just a couple of quick selfies, so people choose to live meekly, modestly, and mildly. They avoid the daily grind. But on the other side is the winner. The winner chooses to live boldly and bravely.
They don't just want instant fame, they are willing to sweat and build the serious mental muscle required to truly succeed when the world inevitably knocks them down. And why exactly must you build that mental muscle? Well, let's bring it right back to our main anchor for this explainer. Push yourself because no one is going to do it for you. Literally nobody is going to force you off the couch of life. Nobody is going to mandate that you live boldly or bravely. If you want the rewards of the winner, you have to be the one applying the pressure to yourself. It absolutely has to come from within.
That necessary internal push brings us naturally to Section 4. Growth requires hard work.
So here's the second pillar of self-motivation. Personal growth demands that you stop daydreaming about the finish line and start actually putting your hands in the dirt. You will never truly know what you can achieve until you commit to the work. To really illustrate this, Schofield uses this totally brilliant and honestly pretty funny quote from Dwight Eisenhower. He once said, "Farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles from the cornfield." Isn't that the truth? From the safety of our comfortable, prepackaged lives and rote jobs, creating your own future looks deceptively simple. It's so easy to look at other successful people and think, oh, I could do that. But when the safety net is gone, you realize that real growth is gritty, it's tough, and it is anything but easy.
The harsh reality? You just have to put your shoulder to the plow and start walking. We all secretly hope for an easier path, right? We want the shortcut. But when that easy path doesn't magically appear, and let's be real, it rarely does, your only choice is to put in the actual work. You have to get involved, get your hands dirty, and do whatever it takes to create the future of your dreams. The plowing is hard, for sure, but it is entirely doable if you are just willing to make the effort.
Which brings us to our final pillar in Section 5, the reward of taking risks.
Pushing yourself, building that mental muscle, and doing the hard work, eventually it all requires you to step way out of your comfort zone. But Schofield argues that taking these risks is exactly what makes life infinitely richer. She shares the super powerful insight from Dr. Alex Lickerman regarding this. He notes that we often fear stepping into the unfamiliar, but it rarely turns out to be as bad as we expect. More importantly, he points out that stepping away from our routine builds courage, and here is the absolute key: the mere act of needing to summon that courage is itself a massive benefit. Just by trying something new, even if it's terrifying, you are gaining a vital characteristic that you wouldn't have acquired otherwise.
To truly succeed, you have to step into the light of the ring and fight to the finish. I mean, think about anyone who has achieved true fame and fortune entirely on their own. They didn't get there by playing it safe on the sidelines. No way. They got there with their own heart, their own soul, their own sweat and tears, and against all odds, they won. Knowing you did it on your own makes life so much richer, proving that the risk of stepping into the unfamiliar is absolutely worth the ultimate reward.
When you put all of this together, you get Schofield's conclusive formula for mastering self-motivation. It's this beautiful, direct, logical progression. Step 1, you take a risk by stepping into the unfamiliar. Step 2, by taking that risk, you unlock courage you didn't even know you had. Step 3, that courage leads to a profound sense of gain and freedom, completely unchaining you from complacency. And finally, Step 4, this newly found freedom and drive propels you to achieve success. Risk is literally the master key that unlocks this entire sequence.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to carry into the rest of your day. What dream are you willing to start plowing for today? You are so much stronger than you think. You absolutely have the capacity to build serious mental muscle and step into the ring. So take immediate ownership of your life, embrace the hard work, and take that risk. Remember, the future of your dreams is out there waiting, but you have to push yourself, because no one is going to do it for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep pushing forward, and I'll catch you next time.